Hello guys and welcome to the channel. So we have a leak about potential buffs and nerfs for certain heroes for Season 1 of Marvel Rivals. Let's get right into it. Alright, so these leaks are coming to us from a group of data miners who apparently have dates of when certain things are going to be happening within the game for Season 1. First, I want to talk about a certain devlog that we are apparently scheduled to receive. That includes a number of balance updates. So apparently the characters that are going to receive buffs are Venom, Captain America, Wolverine, Storm, and Cloak and Dagger. And the characters who are going to receive a nerf are of course Hela and Hawkeye, who we all know have been incredibly oppressive in this meta. Now if I'm being completely honest, a lot of these characters receiving buffs, it does seem reasonable, and this is why part of me believes that these leaks are real. Now Venom is one of the characters that is a bit weird because he is already good in my opinion, but he does have a buff right now which is 150 health, which I really think that's going to be the buff. Other than that, like, you really have to be careful as Venom when you're diving in, because if you don't use your cooldowns correctly, then you do get taken out quite easily, and when stuff gets hectic and you start getting focused, you die quite a bit if you're not careful. So it makes a little bit of sense. I think it's going to be the 150 health that you're going to retain on him. Yeah, him receiving buffs, it kind of makes sense to me. Now about Captain America, I think my boy most definitely needed a buff. A lot of the time it's like you're there, you're running around, you're jumping in the back line, you're doing damage, but it feels like you're inflicting too little damage, or at least in comparison to the other tanks in the game. Now for Storm, she's kind of in the same boat where she feels underwhelming, and you can only feel like you're doing something when you're in your empowered form or in your ultimate. So I do wonder if they're gonna make her projectile bigger or if they're gonna make it faster. I do personally feel like she's a little bit too slow. It's like part of her kit wants her to be behind cover, and the other part of her kit wants you to be aggressive and in the fight. But it's quite easy to target Storm. So I'm really curious what they're going to do with her. Now for Cloak and Dagger, I'm actually quite surprised because I was under the impression that they were pretty good. I don't know if great, although I've had some incredible games with the character. I do feel like sometimes Dagger feels like she's not doing too much when she's damaging other characters. And I do feel like sometimes Cloak isn't doing too much for the match. It's like he has his situations where you want to use him, but most of the time you want to be in the dagger form, right? Now what I do feel that they need is a little bit of a period, maybe some iframes when you're switching, because sometimes it's like you get targeted and you can't do anything because you're in the middle of a switch, right? And probably Dagger could use a little bit of a buff to her damage too. Now for Wolverine, big gasp. This is probably the most difficult character to grasp in the game, and many aspects of his kit feel clunky. You know, like his dash is a little short, his leap, it's almost like you have to be in your opponent's face for it to even be effective. Sometimes you're very close by and it seems like you can't leap and grab an opponent. But with time, you know, the community has realized that he's more of a tank buster because he does do percent based damage, and that means that with squishies he's not doing as much. But you know, to your average player he's difficult, and even to pros who have dedicated themselves to being a good Wolverine, he could still be much better. And maybe the changes that he receives have to do with the way he feels how to play. You know, his leap could use a shorter cooldown. They probably shorten it, or perhaps they focus on his overall speed and survivability, because, you know, his enemies, they can just walk away from him and that just feels horrible. Who knows, but I'm excited to see what the devs are cooking, because Lord knows they've been cooking. Now, moving on to different announcements. We're gonna get new maps and new modes for the game. So we have Krakoa as a new map, Araco, New York City, Thebes, Egypt, so we're stepping a little bit away from space and the galaxy and whatnot, and more into something more familiar. Now as for the game modes, apparently it's going to be Capture the Flag, Deathmatch, escort modes, mystery heroes, incredibly excited for that one, and many more like arms race deathmatch, classic hybrid mode, sniper team deathmatch with big heads. So incredible stuff. As for other announcements, we also have confirmation of when certain heroes, namely the Fantastic Four, are going to be announced and available in the game. So let's get into that one. Already have confirmation of the abilities that Mr. Fantastic and the Human Torch are going to have from a previous leak. We still don't know anything about Sue Storm or the Thing. We do know that Mr. Fantastic and Johnny Storm are going to be duelists, and then the Thing is going to be a tank. Don't know anything about Sue Storm. I'm thinking probably she's going to be support. Talking about supports, we also know Ultron's coming in the game, although we don't know when. That's to be announced. But I do like that the devs are kind of spacing out the way they present new characters, so it's not overwhelming and not all at once. So we're gonna get 2 heroes at the start of the season, and I suppose we're also gonna get stuff like, you know, new skins, new maps and whatnot. And then the other 2 are probably gonna be towards the middle of the season, which is gonna last around 3 months. Well guys, that's about it. That's all about the leaks. I'm really liking what the devs are presenting for this game. I really like the direction that the game is taking, so here's to this being true. We are gonna find out come January 10th when the season starts. We're looking forward to that. In the meantime, take care, play some nice games, and I'll see you guys later.